Hey guys, Artemis here, and today I want to talk to you guys about the Vangelo delle Streghe. A part of it, at least, the creation story. Now, I've made reference about it in the past, and I just want to kind of read some of it to you and tell you a little bit about it. Supposedly it came from an Italian witch named Maddalena. Now Maddalena gave this story to Charles Leland, who was promised to publish the story. I read this story and it really resonated with me. Now everybody, has their own beliefs and stuff, and I'm not saying anything about that. You believe how you see fit. But I just wanted to kind of read some of it to you and see what you guys thought of it. It's a beautiful story, I believe. And this is how it goes. Diana was the first to create all creations. In her were all things. For endless eons, primeval deity existed as an amorphous and undifferentiated I cannot pronounce this, undifferentiated state. Undifferentiated state. Close enough. In the darkness before the first creation, at first she slept, aware of nothing, resting and recharging, gathering her energies and merely being, alone and contempt in herself. But over the course of time, primeval deity began to stir, become aware. First, she became aware of her own existence. In time, she began to think, to dream, to question and to desire. She wondered what it would be like to feel. What would it be like to move, to take action, to be able to receive sensation, to see, to taste, to touch, to hear. And so for eons, primeval deity thought and considered and wondered. And then, out of herself, the first darkness, she divided herself into darkness and light. She was divided, the God, her brother and son, herself, her other self, and light. Primeval deity divided herself, one became two. All of the physical, tangible, volatile parts of primeval deity went into the God, who was the light. The God exploded into existence out of primeval deity in a shower of sparks and flame, which we'll remember as the Big Bang, the starting point of physical creation. All of spiritual, eternal parts of primal deity remained in the goddess. In the sense, goddess is thought of as part of continuation of the primal deity, since the consciousness of primal deity is one of the spiritual parts that remain with her. And the God spread out in all directions through primordial void, a blaze of light and superheated matter. In time, his fire would cool into stars, and from stars into planets. As this happens, the vibration of matter slows. It becomes more dense, seemingly solid. And when Diana saw that the light was so beautiful, the light which was her other half, her brother, the God, she yearned for it, and exceeding great desire, wishing to receive the light again into her darkness, to swallow it up in rapture, into light, She trembled with desire, and this trembling was the first dawn. But the God, light fled from her, and would not yield to her wishes. He was the light which flies into the most distant parts of the heaven, the mouse of which flies before the cat. Seeing the beauty of the God, that is, of the physical universe, the goddess was entranced with desire and wanted it back. She had dreamed of seeing and tasting and doing, but being separate from the God, she could do none of this. She could only observe from outside that she had created. The goddess wanted to experience she had dreamed of, and so she desired to take the created universe back into herself. But it wasn't that easy. The Vangelo tells how the goddess went to the oldest part of herself, primeval deity, who was still within her. The Vangelo calls the primeval deity the mothers and fathers who were before the first creation, emphasizing primeval deity androgynous aspect. In other words, the goddess consulted her own higher self. In many ancient myths, notably the story of Demeter and Persephone, this same process is shown in the goddess entering Hecate's cave to take counsel of the oldest and wisest part of deity. In the Vangelo, Diana asked primeval deity how she could reunite with the god, how she could take spirit matter back into herself. And the Ancient One, primeval deity, the goddess, her own higher self, answered this way. To rise you must fall. To become the greatest of all goddesses, you must first become a mortal. In other words, it was not possible for spirit simply to take matter back into herself. The goddess wished to reunite with the god, to be one with matter and experience it. She had to enter the physical world. Only in that way could the goddess and God reunite. And so, Diana fell. That is to say, she descended through the 7 planes to the physical. She did this by diving off parts of herself, the many souls which she sent into the physical plane, placing them into physical forms. Each soul was led many lifetimes, going through the physical forms in process. We now are one of those lifetimes, one of those souls that was part of the goddess. We are her children, and the children of the god. For our existence is the accomplishment of their union. And there's more into the whole thing, talking about, how they reunited, how she took matter back. Let's see if I can find some of the other stuff. It tells us that Diana took the form of a cat, the soul entering into material form, and in this she got close to the god. Then resuming her own form, she made passionate love to him. Then, to maintain the union of spirit and matter, the goddess cast a spell. She sang a charm, and her voice was as buzzing of bees. And then Diana sat at her spinning wheel and began to spin the thread of life. And the god turned the wheel. Now there's a lot more to this, talking about the spinning of the wheel, representing the wheel of time, or the wheel of the year. But you get the essence of the story, which is absolutely, I think, an awesome story. The 7 planes, I can get into that into a different video if you guys would like. But I just wanted to give you a little brief knowledge, I guess, of the Vangelo delle Streghe and the creation story. But anyway, thank you for watching. Blessed be. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment in the comment section below. Thank you guys.